a recipe on a quick and easy Vietnamese pho. I always get this craving for pho every once in a while, and either like it takes too long to make or like I'm not next to a restaurant that serves it. I always think it takes a really long time to do, but I actually found a really quick and simple kind of like cheat way of making pho that I think that you guys will all love. This is just basically working with like either a really nice vegetable broth or a really nice chicken broth, and then just adding a couple of flavorings, simmering it for a little bit, and then adding whatever toppings that you want to add. So yeah, let's head to the kitchen and get cooking.
Okay, so I started off by toasting up all of the spices first, and this is over medium-high heat. I have a cinnamon stick, star anise, some coriander seeds, and some cloves. And remember to keep on swirling it around because this does tend to burn. Next thing you want to do is to soak your rice noodles. So a lot of people don't know about this, but you shouldn't really cook your rice noodles that long. Soak them in water for about, let's say 10 minutes or so, and then afterwards they get super soft and you only need to cook them for about a minute just to, heat up everything. Meanwhile, we're going to start preparing some stuff for the stock. So you're going to cut and you're going to slice one whole onion and leave half for the stock and then half for garnishes later. Meanwhile, still continue swirling that pan because it will burn. So I smashed the garlic in addition to about 1 inch of ginger that I sliced, and then the other half of the onion. And then this is lemongrass. So I only need one stalk of this. You want to cut it into about kind of 2-inch sticks, and they have really hard exteriors sometimes. So you split them down in the middle because it's too hard to cut from the outside. And I'm just taking the back of my knife and just smashing the back of that, and that kind of releases all of the flavors. And I'm just going to be putting it into the pan just like that. Afterwards, these spices are super fragrant and you can definitely smell them. Put them into a plate, set that aside, and then while the pan is still hot, you want to put, a tablespoon to 2 of oil, and then put in all of that other stuff right in, and then swirl it around. So you are looking to get some char on this. So I would say, again, medium-high heat for 2 to 3 minutes again. So this is me putting the other half of the onion aside for garnish. I've cut some scallions as well. You can cut them on a diagonal or whatever you want. So you can see that has gotten some color to it after a couple of minutes. So I'm just adding in all of my spices. I'm just going to let it marry around for about a minute or so, just until all the flavors get together. Meanwhile, I am going to start, I have some vegetable broth that I've made, and I thought it was pretty safe to do. Serves both, vegetarians and not, but you can certainly do chicken broth or beef broth. And yeah, there's some vegetables in that. I kept that frozen, but everything's going to get strained out. So put a cover on that, bring it to a boil, and then turn it down to a simmer. And you want to simmer for about 30 minutes or slightly less, but you'll get more flavor that way after 30. So this is just some edamame beans, and then any extra vegetables that you want to add to it afterwards. This is 5-spice tofu, and it works really well as a vegetarian option. So I have some chicken over to the upper right, but why this tofu works is it's been kind of pre-strained, the liquid's been released out of it, so it's a little bit more chunky, a little bit more meaty. But the 5 spices, the 5-spice mimics the flavor of, what you've basically put into your broth. So like the cinnamon and the star anise and the cloves. And this has all of that. So one piece really does. I sliced it lengthwise into, I would say about 1/4-inch slices. And that's enough for, a serving. And then if you want to do more, you can do that. So that you have a vegetarian option as well as a meat option. I'm just finishing kind of all of the garnishes, so I have like lime, some cilantro, some onions, and some scallions. And then I'm just showing you the rice noodles now. I have not cooked this at all, but you can see that really what it needed was to be rehydrated. This stuff is super soft. It will cook in about a minute. So here is the stock, smelling nice and wonderful after about a half an hour. And I leave adding the soy sauce and the fish sauce till the end because I think that it gets kind of better flavor that way. I don't really like to cook it too much. This is fish sauce. If you're happy to make it a vegetarian option, feel free to just leave that out. But it does add a really nice kind of backdrop to this whole thing. So I am just straining out everything, making sure that the broth is clear, and then I'm cooking the noodles in the same liquid as my broth. Usually I know that people just cook it in a separate pot of water, but I thought since you guys are going to be making this as like a quick meal option, why not just cook everything right in there? You'll see that it picked up some of the color, so if you do want kind of that white rice noodle color, you want to kind of cook it separately. Meanwhile, the water is still boiling, so I'm going to put the meat and the tofu in the same pot. Obviously, if you're a vegetarian, you will separate that. I put in the beans, and then I put in a little bit of the onions as well, because I like kind of a little bit more of a cooked feel to the onions. So just so that they soften a little bit. This is about, I'll put it in there for about a minute because I'm only waiting for everything to just heat up. So after that, I'm going to pour my broth right on top of my noodles, and a little zhuzhing with the chopsticks just to make them look a little bit better. And then the rest is just decorating it. So some onions, I put in the meats or the tofu, and then I'm just decorating it with some edamame beans. It's really quite tedious of a process making this look camera ready, but I also think it's the same reason that this dish looks so appetizing, because of all of these really pretty garnishes that make the dish taste really good as well, because you're playing with different textures, you know, raw onions, cooked onions, you have your scallions, and then that citrus from the lime, so it makes that looks really pretty. So squeeze some lime over it, and yeah, there you guys have it. I mean, it wasn't like the shortest of recipes, but it's definitely a lot shorter than if you were making traditional pho, which can take hours to do. But with this, you still get all of the amazing flavors of like the cinnamon and the star anise and cloves and all that jazz. So I think it's a really nice, like, quicker alternative. And the noodles are so yummy. They are not overcooked because we soaked them as opposed to cooking them. So there you guys have it. My Vietnamese Pho Noodles, vegetarian style or with meat. As usual, if you happen to like recipes like this, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I will see you guys again later. Bye!